pull this clutch cover here. We're going to remove this Kickstarter lever. A 12mm bolt to pull that out. And it looks like we actually have to turn this one to get the bolt all the way out. So actually, yeah. There's your Kickstarter there. I like to take and put that bolt back in there so we know where it's at. Now these Phillips can be a bit of a challenge, especially on these older motorcycles. So I take what is called an impact driver here. This is the Matco brand. And just take one of these, and they're kind of on a tapered, so when you turn it, when you take a hammer and slam on it, it'll turn that screw and twist it out at the same time. So I've done that with all the bolts on this, but that's what you do, and you just kind of turn it in the direction you're wanting to go. Once they're all loosened up, I like to grab an impact here, 3/8 impact, and just zip them off quick. It goes a lot quicker, but a lot of times just doing this to begin with will strip these bolts out or round the heads off. Alright, now I like to take a rubber mallet then. And we are able to get it broke free. That gasket sometimes can hold us up. But take a little bit of pressure, you can just kind of pull anywhere on it to have a little bit of pressure in there. And once you're able to get your fingers in behind there, you can even use a putty knife to get in behind there and kind of pry it open. And then we're able to get that cover off. So this clutch pack assembly looks like it's in great condition. This gasket you'll want to replace when you're going back together. Here's your clutch pack assembly. And your Kickstarter gear here. Now to pull this clutch apart, I take a hook like this, and this isn't a very common clutch style, but you can just kind of lift up, and then I take another pair of pliers, and we'll pull these pins out. And then do that to each one of them. Most of them will have most clutches, obviously not the TS's, this model, will have, these will be bolts instead of springs, so you're not having to do this style. And they're a whole lot easier going back together, but I'm showing you how to do this so that you can do it yourself. You're not having to take it in and pay in labor. Got one more here. You can use a 90-degree angle pick too, that may even work better. But now those are all off, now we're able to lift this cover off here. And that's what it looks like underneath. Now these springs are going to stay in place. And what you're going to do is grab a flat screwdriver. No, I think you'll be able to see that there, but I'll try turning it a little bit more. If that's any better, but take a flat screwdriver and a hammer and flatten. This is a keeper here. And that keeps this bolt from unscrewing. This will just pull right off there. We'll have a rod going all the way through that bolt there. I'm going to turn this motor the way that it was so we're not losing pieces. Now we take, this is a 7/8 socket. I'm taking a hold of my finger so that that clutch doesn't spin, and we can take that off of there. I like to make sure it's loose, and then what I do is put everything back together just to keep everything in one piece. Now if you're replacing plates, which these plates look to be in great condition, we can measure them, but you can just replace them right here. You don't even have to pull that clutch basket. So that nut that I just took apart there, you don't even have to pull that to replace these plates. Friction plates most commonly wear out. Steel plates a lot of times will warp, and that's why they get replaced. Friction plates are generally more expensive. Occasionally these springs will wear out or break as well, so you want to replace those. Going back together, you want to make sure this nut goes back on there. You want to make sure you take a screwdriver and bend this keeper back up just the way that you found it. So going back together now, now that we got that nut off, now this is not, you want to make sure if you're rebuilding this clutch pack, you get that nut back on there, but we're just pulling this clutch basket. So taking, you can do the same thing with you can stick your pick down in there and grab those springs. And I won't do it on all of them because it's kind of time consuming, but just take it up like this, and then you can see that there's a groove, and it really doesn't matter which groove you put it in, as long as it goes in one of them. Then you take and you slide this pin all the way through. Whoop. And having that off, you're not going to have this problem because more than likely you're going to have that nut on there before you do this. So when I'm pulling up, it's pulling that whole clutch pack up with it. So lift it up enough to get this pin through there. And then it might be easier with a 90-degree plier or a 90-degree pick. But then you slide these back through there and set them in a groove, and you're all set. So we're just going to pull that off. I'll work on that clutch basket another time. But spring will come with it, and it's grooved back in there. Make sure that those teeth are good on there, sitting on that gear.